On this episode of The Commercial Break.
I didn't know what to do, so I put the hat on and I went to work. And when I got home after that shift at McDonald's, my dad threw a fucking hissy fit. He's like, what the hell happened to your hair? What did you do? And I was like, I just, how do I explain it? It was the wall. I was watching the wall and I lost my hair. I love the beautiful women and the beautiful boys. I love it all. It's all wonderful.
Fun hotels.
It's Latina and Latino. And you dance and you get your drugs and you have your cocaina. I love it.
Yes.
All of it. I'm all about it. The yachts and the beautiful, everything.
And the whole vibe.
The people in Miami drive like fucking shitheads. That's all I got to say. I'm upstairs helping this guy kind of untie and do a couple things around maintenance around the boat to get ready. And I hear, Bryan! And I'm like, the first thing this guy says is, no yelling.
The next episode of The Commercial Break starts now.
Oh, yeah, toddlers and tiaras. Welcome back to another episode of The Commercial Break. I'm Bryan Green. This is my dear friend, Krissy Hoadley. Best to you, Krissy.
Best to you, Bryan.
And best to you out there in the podcast universe. How the hell are you? Thanks for joining us on yet another episode of this, The Commercial Break. It's not for everyone, but fact, news, or fiction is guaranteed in 15 seconds or less. Go to the brand new tcbpodcast.com to collect your earnings. Back from vacation in the studio.
Woo!
Cowboys and cowgirls ride again. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Well, so much happened over our 2-week vacation. I don't even know where to start. I'll guess we're under new rule. We're under new rule. The king of, what's his name? The Duchess of Essex.
Yes, King Charles.
The House of
Windsor.
The House of Windsor. I've signed the declaration on the third day of the kingdom of the Essex and the Duchess and the host. Who the fucking understands any of that shit? I gotta say this now. I can appreciate that the Queen was alive for a long time, and I found a bit of sadness in the fact that she died, even though she was
for over 70 years.
93 years old.
96.
Yeah. How long do you think the news organizations had those packages ready to rock?
Oh, totally ready for years, 10 years.
Since the 80s, at least,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
I mean, they had to.
Exactly.
And so when they started talking about her in grave condition, she was already dead. Probably. That's my opinion. She was already dead.
Well, she did formally, get the new prime minister in, and then it was the next day that she died.
Crazy.
Yeah, she held on for
insane?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think they rolled a body double out there?
No.
I think so.
I don't.
That's my opinion.
I'm
starting internet misinformation right now. I'm going to be flagged. So now what happens? So now it's King Charles, and then William becomes the prince.
Yes.
And so some people were saying that they're going to rule together. It's going to be like the prince and the Charles and the king, and they're going to rule together.
I don't think
like a
so.
CEO and a chairman of the board.
I mean, he is next in line.
Now what happens to Harry? Is he still just the guy who swings his dick around parties? I don't know.
He's married to Meghan now.
Oh, he's married to Meghan?
Yeah,
you don't
Meghan
think
Markle.
You don't think he swings his dick around?
No, I don't think so anymore.
Meghan Markle's a big deal.
She is.
She's a big deal.
She's really pretty, and I like her.
The two of them were filmed for the first time, Harry and William were filmed for the first time in a year or something together, walking down and
brought everybody together.
Didn't look like they were together at all. Looked like they were fucking pissed at each other. I saw the picture. I was like, wow, those are two brothers who are having an epic fight.
Yeah.
And all the tabloids and stuff. Poor William, he just lost all his hair.
Yeah.
He's got nothing on that dome. I say go bald all the way.
Yeah.
First bald king. That's what I think.
Yes.
Second bald king. Bryan Green first, and then second bald king could be right.
I have to say.
Isn't it? Mm-hmm. Are you saying that because of me, or?
Well, you're part of it.
Are you saying I'm partly bald, or are you saying I'm part of it?
You're part of the reason I think bald is sexy. Let's go there.
Thank you. I'm just amazed at the lack of hair on the top of that guy's head. It's like it in a perfect circle. Did you notice that?
I know a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people over the years with that same pattern. It's called a male pattern baldness.
Male pattern baldness.
It is, and it's okay.
No, I don't care. I don't give a shit. Look at me. I mean, I got male pattern baldness going on right on the top of my head. My hairline has receded at least 6 inches in the last 20 years.
But no one would ever know.
No, because that's
you've
what
kept it shaved.
Hey, listen, I beat the universe to the punch. I decided I was going to go ahead and shave my head.
Proactive.
Actually, I didn't shave my head. Someone else shaved my head. I was, I'll tell this story, how I got a bald head. How Bryan got a bald head.
Because I've only known you to have bald head.
No one in my recent life would have known me with hair because I've never had it.
I remember the time you told me that it was like super thick and curly.
I
could not picture it.
Super thick and curly.
We
and
need
there's
pictures.
Yeah, there's some pictures. I don't like to. They'll never make their way on the internet. But
you'll let 33P.
33P is
Make
less
its
embarrassing
way.
than my fucking mop of hair. I'll just tell you that right now.
Your old band.
I'd rather get the
33P.
old band back together and play at Wembley than show pictures of my damn curly hair.
Okay.
It looks like a mop on the top of my head. It's so thick and just nasty. It looks like a Brillo bush or something. Yes, I'm embarrassed. I don't like that hair. I wouldn't want
Yeah,
to show
obviously
it.
you didn't like it. So how did it happen?
I was working at McDonald's and I
it
had
caught on fire.
I stuck
You
my head
had
in
to
the fryer.
shave it.
I stuck my head in the fryer. It's
It
there.
was a Michael Jackson moment.
So I went. It was a time when I was just starting to get stoned, and I didn't really know my boundaries with weed because the first couple of times
No one does.
no, of course not. Because when the first time you smoke weed, you don't even know you're stoned.
No,
It's like
exactly.
this didn't do anything.
No, I
to
don't
me.
feel anything.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you're naked in the middle of the highway, flagging down police officers for help. But I just didn't know, right? I didn't. But anyway, so we get this bag of weed from the worst part of town. We were like two young white teenagers. I had a friend. His name was John. We went to like the worst part of town and we asked for whatever. We asked for a dime bag, I think. And the guy was like, you got to spend 50 to get rolling, right? And I was like, okay. He still only gave us a dime bag, but we gave him 50. Whatever. We didn't know what we were doing.
you just wanted to try it.
We smoked that entire dime bag, in a night and listened to Pink Floyd.
Did you?
The Wall.
Let me ask you this:
Yeah.
How did you smoke it? Did you roll it in a
ball,
joint?
in a bowl.
In a bowl.
In a bowl.
Okay, and was it in an apple?
No, it was an actual
I remember
bowl.
smoking
I remember the
weed out of
bowl.
the apple.
And the thing is that John's mom had cancer and she had it for many years.
Yeah.
And so while this was never confirmed, I believed that the reason why she was okay, and it was this tiny little apartment he lived in, like 2 bedrooms that were right next door to it. He was right next door to his mom. And she never, ever once complained about the clear smell of weed coming out of that
'cause
room.
she was smoking it too.
I think that's what was going on.
I mean, it's a thing.
Sure, why not?
It helps.
Yeah. So we smoked it out of a bowl, and I didn't think I was stoned. He turns on the wall, and all of a sudden shit got weird, right? It was like, the helicopter noises, and I had never really experienced anything like that. I ended up
I feel
passing
like
out.
that's just standard that everybody puts on the wall.
You have to put on the wall. And David Gilmour hates that shit. Like, he wrote that album, and he hates it. He wrote that album about the stoners in the fucking crowd. He's like, can't you guys just settle down? Meanwhile, Syd Barrett's on 7,000 hits of acid.
Right.
Yeah. He's still tripping wherever he is.
Yeah.
So I ended up passing out in the bathroom. I felt weird, and I ended up passing out
Hello,
in the
funny
bathroom.
feeling.
You have no authority here, Jackie Weaver.
So,
Guess who?
so I pass out in the bathroom, and John wakes me up the next morning.
No, you just passed out for the
Passed
night.
out in the cold. I don't remember.
Wasn't
what
somebody
was
like,
going on.
"Where's Bryan"?
Well, there's only me and John. So John, if I was in his bathroom, he knew I was in his bathroom, and he was
Okay.
stoned too.
He's
so
like,
maybe
he's
he
safe
just didn't.
there.
Yeah, he's safe. He was kind of
Brian's
tripping
safe
out.
there.
Yeah.
There's
Brian's
a nice.
freaking
There's
me out,
those
man.
furry little rugs up by
Yeah.
the toilet. You know how people used to put those.
He was like, Brian's hair is tripping me out, man.
He needs to
I'm
stay.
done with it.
He
Yeah.
needs to stay in the loo.
in the loo. So the next morning, Brian, it's time to go to work. I had to like open the McDonald's the next morning, which you had to get up at like 3:30 in the
Yeah,
morning
I
because you had to be there by
bet.
4 so you can make the coffee by 5 because some shithead was going to come in on a Saturday at 5 in the morning, fucking grab his coffee and take a dump in your bathroom that you'd have to clean 2 days later.
Right.
So I wake up and I get in the shower and I go to wash my hair and I don't
There's
have
no
any. There's
hair.
no hair.
What?
So John took it upon himself to shave my head while I was passed out
Wow.
and stoned in the bathroom.
Okay.
He thought it was the funniest thing in the world.
I bet it was.
So while I'm
I
tripping
can't
out,
believe you to wake up.
while I think there's helicopters on the roof because Pink Floyd The Wall, John is having a grand old
But I
time.
mean, Okay.
Let me tell you, the job that he did was spotty at best.
Like
I
a
had
hatchet.
patches of hair coming out of this and that. I had this McDonald's hat. I was
You look a chia
freaking the
pet.
fuck out. Yes, I looked horrible. A chia pet. I look like in a desert with little bush, the tumbleweeds on the top of my head. So I got out of the shower and I just couldn't believe what was going on with my head. And John thought this was just the funniest thing in the world. So I didn't know what to do. So I put the hat on and I went to work. And when I got home after that shift at McDonald's, my dad threw a fucking hissy fit. He's like, what the hell happened to your hair? What did you do? And I was like, I just, how do I explain it? It was the wall. I was watching the wall and I lost my hair. I don't even remember how I explained it away, but it stuck.
He loved your hair. He wanted you to keep the hair. He just was concerned
back in this
when he saw the patchy job that had been done.
He knew what was going on.
Of course
he knew
did.
that I was being an idiot. But here's a funny thing that happened. People started at that time. Not many people had their heads shaved.
No,
and some people would have inferred that you might have been a skinhead,
right,
for having your head shaved, which I clearly was not. But some people at work started commenting on how good the haircut looked.
You've got a great face.
Or thank you very much. And without any hair, you just have to focus on the face.
Yes.
So I think really what it was is that they were commenting on how good my head looked without the fucking hair on top of my head.
They hated the hair.
It was
too.
awful. So I feel you, Harry, or whatever your name, William, or whatever your name is.
Yes,
I feel you, like male. But I think he should just go for it. Like, why not just take the rest of it off?
Too. I don't know if it's allowed. And the monarch scribes, there might be.
They have a lot of scribes.
I saw something today that said that they are not allowed to do autographs, and
why?
They're just not. It's part of it. They're not allowed to sign autographs, and they can travel anywhere in the world with no passport.
Well, that makes sense.
It kind of does.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you think the president can travel anywhere in the world without a passport?
I don't know, probably.
I think they just
on Air Force One.
Yeah, I think on Air Force One. If you show up on Air Force One, you're probably getting the green light from my.
Yeah, you just say where you're going. You're like, I'm coming there.
Listen, debate the royals. Don't debate the royals. There's a lot of good and a lot of bad. I'm sure that I've come from the royal family, and I know that a lot of people. I know that people in England get all excited. Some people in England get all excited about it, but I do think they have to kind of, step it up into the 21st century now.
Mm-hmm.
Now that the guard has changed, I think it would do Charles.
Well, I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, me too. I think Harry needs to be a part of it. I think Harry adds that rock and roll flavor we're all looking for.
He kind of does, yeah.
I mean, I like a guy who pulls his dick out at a party.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion.
Vegas.
Yeah.
I remember that story.
Didn't he? He was like, he pulled it out when he lost a pool match or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Speaking of pulling your dick out, I think this is really funny. There's a website out there that takes the top 600 podcasts, and then it ingests all of the content, and then it tells advertisers which content is safe for their brand.
Okay.
So it gives them a score on a number of different things. It's
What are
terrorism. Oh my God, Krissy. Let me tell you. First of all, I can't believe the commercial break is even listed on this website.
It is?
Top 600 podcasts in the world. But it is. And it's like profanity, sex, violence,
everything bad,
misinformation, everything bad, right? And then it gives you a score. It's like a heat map. And then it tells you which episodes and how many episodes are bad or good in this particular category, right? So as you can imagine, the commercial break is laced with profanity. So it's got a red dot way at the end. It's like red dot, and then it lists all the episodes. All 230 odd some episodes are listed under profanity. And it gives you a score of like 0 to 98 relevance, and they're all in the 90s.
We're first.
We also get a pretty good score on sex. Mm-hmm. And the word that shows up most often in our show under the sex category is penis and dick.
Okay.
It shows up over 797 times in our short 233 episodes.
Well, let's say it again. Penis and dick, and then now we're up in the 800s.
There you go. When I looked at this website, I was like, holy shit, they're categorizing our podcast and how safe it is for brands. Yeah. And I can't even believe that any
people can still continue.
People continue to listen to this damn show. People
to advertise.
And to advertise. Disney Plus is on advertising on the show. I heard a commercial for the McDonald's the other day on our show, and I obviously no one at McDonald's has ever listened to the show because I do nothing but talk shit about McDonald's on this show. So I went to, I got out of town. I went to Miami, and then I went on another Disney cruise.
Yes.
Miami is like an episode of Grand Theft Auto. I just have to tell you.
Right. Yeah. It's like so many amazing cars and beautiful people, right? I haven't been in years.
It's unbelievable. The difference. You drive in Atlanta, and you have to be a certain kind of driver in Atlanta. Because people in Atlanta, they drive
cautious and aggressive at
cautious
the same time.
and aggressive at the same time.
Aggressive.
You really need to pay the fuck attention to what you're doing in Atlanta because people drive like morons.
Crazies, yeah.
As if they got their license on the back of a cereal box. It's unbelievable.
I agree, yes.
Yeah, they're still letting your grandfather drive, and he's 99 with one eye.
Yeah, he's in South Carolina now,
okay,
though.
Well, okay, whatever. I often say in Atlanta, you have to be an aggressive driver because everybody else is driving so aggressively and unbelievably stupidly.
Yeah, you have to be moderately aggressive and cautious. You have to, like, all eyes, you need 360
all around you
degree,
at all times.
yeah,
I'm constantly
periphery.
monitoring
Me
those
too.
mirrors
Me
because
too.
if you don't look for 1 second, there's a guy coming up on you at 180 miles per hour. In Miami, so let's say 1 out of 10 drivers in Atlanta is driving like a fucking moron. In Miami, it's 1 out of 10 drivers that's not driving like a fucking moron. I love Miami. I love everything about Miami.
It's a great city.
I love the sun. I love the fun. I love the beautiful women and the beautiful boys. I love it all. It's all wonderful.
Fun hotels. And
it's Latina and Latino. And you dance and you get your drugs and you have your cocaine. I love it.
Yes.
All of it. I'm all about it. Yes. The yachts and the beautiful, everything.
And the whole vibe.
The people in Miami drive like fucking shitheads. That's all I got to say.
Okay.
They drive. It's really all of Florida because I don't know. That sun's going to everybody's head down there or something. If you're driving, if the speed limit is 70, you must drive at least 90 in order to keep up with traffic.
Yeah.
And then what happens, especially in that Florida turnpike?
But there's only like so far, like you're at the end of the state. Like, where are people just like circling around the city?
That's what they're doing.
Fast?
They're circling around the city doing super fast.
Because you can't go any further.
The highway system makes no sense
you can go
whatsoever.
in the Keys on that one bridge.
Sure.
But
there's the turnpike that goes from Orlando to Miami, right? And so when we're driving down there, I'm literally going 90 miles per hour in the left-hand lane, and I'm following a line of traffic.
Okay. You're in a little caravan type thing.
And if you leave even a fucking penis worth of room in between you and the car in front of you, cars come up from the right, and they just jam themselves right in.
I hate when that happens.
They don't even put on a blinker. They just move over
go.
and you have to stop.
You have to stop. Yeah.
There's no other choice because they are going to kill you and everybody else behind you if they don't get their way.
Yourself. You
and
have
then
to
they
let
are
them.
exactly one fucking car ahead. Exactly one fucking car ahead. Congratulations, you fucking moron. You almost killed everybody behind you because you had to be one car ahead and your 1992 fucking Honda Celica, whatever the shit it is, Toyota Celica. It's unbelievable how unintelligent people are when they get in their cars down in Florida, a state that I love very much. But I don't know what happens to people when they get down in that damn sun and they get on a fucking highway. They have to be one car ahead.
Yeah.
Why do you have to be one car ahead?
I don't know.
Just relax, bro. Rev down.
Rev down.
This is coming from a guy who has noted anger issues when it comes to driving.
You do.
But I don't do that. I don't cut in front of people. Krissy.
It's dangerous and it's rude.
It's rude. Yeah, but people don't care. Everyone's entitled. Everyone's so fucking entitled to do this. Everyone thinks that they're the most important thing in the world.
Right.
And
Where
I
they're
blame
getting to.
podcasts and Instagram for this because anybody can be famous on a podcast. Look at us.
I know.
We're two morons.
Yes.
Two morons from the disparate parts of the world come together, the world's worst radio station. We meet each other. We put this podcast on air, and now who knows why people are listening? But
I
they're
have
listening.
no idea, but we appreciate it.
Yeah, but we come out of nowhere, and now we have lots of people that are listening to us.
Are we swerving in front of other podcasts?
We have swerved in front of so many other podcasts.
That person.
Do you remember? Okay.
No blinker.
Yeah,
Coming on in.
I'll get away from the traffic talk for a second. But do you remember like when we were like, I don't know, maybe 100 episodes in, and people started commenting that it wasn't nice of us not to allow another podcast to come on our podcast.
Right.
Do you remember this?
I do, but we tried.
We made an A effort.
People were poo-pooing us at first.
Yeah, they were.
Remember, we came with a whole list. I remember this.
Yes.
You, me, Astrid. We came up with a whole list. We split it up. We said, let's contact these podcasts and see if we can do some cross promotion.
So we contact.
No one would have us.
Well, we contact this one, and one person responded to us, right? And then
Was
they
it the
ghost
guy with the
us.
dog?
No, I don't want to say the name here.
Okay.
No, Dean Bodie.
Yeah,
Dean Bodie was good.
Dean Bodie
yeah.
was.
No, I actually started talking about Dean Bodie, and then Dean found it to be funny, right? Dean Bodie, whatever the fuck that shit was. There's a podcast, and we started looking for other podcasts to cross promote. The idea being you share some audience, right? And when we had 300 listeners, I was looking for other podcasts that had maybe 400 listeners.
Correct. I
we get a
remember
step
we were
up?
looking at the charts.
Yeah, we're looking
and
to
kind of
ladder it up.
Yeah, we weren't going straight for Oprah.
Yeah, we were number 2067. We were looking in the 2500.
Yes.
So we get one podcast to respond, and I communicate with the gentleman, and then they do a whole episode about you and me. Do you remember this?
I do.
They did a whole episode of their show talking about our show. They actually listened to our show on air, and they went through the website.
I think it was a whole show. I think it was a section of a show. But
well, whatever it was.
I remember that,
okay.
yes.
They did a whole episode about us. They did multiple episodes. Anyway.
Okay.
Then they ghost us.
Well, did we reciprocate and do anything with them?
A year later, when the commercial break is getting its comeuppance, and we're swerving in and out of traffic and just beating other comedy podcasts all over the place, I get a text message or an email, hey, what about that cross promotion?
Remember me?
Yeah, remember me? And I was like, yeah, dude. No, I don't remember. Like, sorry, bro.
You ghosted them?
Yeah, well, I didn't ghost them. I just said, we'll think about it. We'll talk to you later. Okay. Let me think about these things. I don't make decisions on time. So then we start getting comments on our Apple.
Oh, that's right.
We got comments that we were not cool because we would not allow this other podcast to come on our podcast. So they sicked their audience on us, essentially. They asked their audience to come talk shit about us because we weren't having them on air. Mm-hmm. And then if you remember, we tried to bring them on air.
We did.
And we were plagued with technical issues that had nothing to do with
We've
us.
tried multiple times to have guests on. I know people want guests. They love guests. We can't figure it out.
I don't know. I don't want guests. What do I fucking
We just
cares
can't
about
figure
guests?
it out.
Yeah.
Like we've tried.
Never works.
Either it's technical difficulty or it's human difficulty. It's not good.
Guys, I'm telling you.
It's like a threesome where, we've got another person and then there's one person's left out.
That's right. I'm over here giving the guest a blowjob and Krissy's trying to tickle his taint and it just doesn't work out. It's like, I get jealous. I want Krissy to tickle my taint. It's a whole thing. Put that down, Podscribe. Another profanity-laced episode by the commercial break. Chalk that up, Podscribe.
Yeah.
The point is that, we swerved in front of some podcasts, but we always put our blinker on. We always let them know that we were coming.
What we did? We always gave the wave.
Yeah, we gave
the thank you.
We said, thank you very much. Thanks for putting me one rank ahead of you. Now, eat my dust. Now, I'm going to pull off into the service center. I'm going to come find you later.
This is Central Control. This is Central Control. Stand by.
George from Zorg wanted you to know that it's time for the commercial break inside of the commercial break. TCBpodcast.com, the brand new TCBpodcast.com is where you go. You'll find all of the audio, all of the video right there on the website. And while you're there, you can drop us a line, hit the contact us form, and let us know if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or content ideas. We would love to hear them, and we will always give you credit if we use your idea on air. 661-237-8296. That's 661, the word best, the number 2, YOYO. Text us, leave us a voicemail. We'd love to hear your voice. And who knows, you just might hear yourself at the beginning of one of these silly podcasts. We'd love it if you'd follow us on Instagram, though no one else does. You be the first at The Commercial Break. And go to our YouTube channel where we're doing just slightly better, youtube.com/The Commercial Break. As the podcast continues to grow, Krissy and I want you to know that we're ever grateful that you continue to listen. And if you have just a moment, follow or subscribe subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. And if they have a place for you to leave a comment or a review, please do so. We like to keep the podcast free of charge because, let's be honest, no one was going to pay for it anyway. So our sponsors support our ventures. Please use the specialized URLs or codes if you're ever in the market for their products or services. They'll give you free shit. They'll continue to buy sponsorship. It's a win-win all around. Speaking of sponsors, we're going to take a short break to hear from them, and then we'll be back to this episode of The Commercial Break. We go to Miami and we get an invite from one of Astrid's family members.
I can't wait to hear this because I've heard a snippet.
This is crazy.
You told me a snippet while you were gone about this, and I'm gonna let have the floor on this one because it's hilarious.
All the family is a flutter for the last 6 months about this one relative that we'll say, who has done very well for himself, a Venezuelan, done very well for himself,
Yes.
lives in Miami, living the dream down in Miami.
Right.
Very smart business guy. Very nice, by the way. Very nice. I really enjoy this guy's company. But
He sounds very nice after what happened.
Yeah. The whole family is a flutter because he has taken ownership of a 48-foot yacht
Nice.
from Italy. Now, everyone's talking about this fucking yacht for like 6 months, right? They're all saying how wonderful it is and how beautiful it is, and they've seen pictures, and it's gorgeous. And I'm thinking to myself, the guy's got a fucking fishing boat is what he's got. He's got a dinghy. He's got a dinghy, and everyone's making a big deal calling it a yacht.
Hyped.
Yeah, it's been hyped way too much, right? There's a yacht is a place with bedrooms and a kitchen and an upstairs and a downstairs. It's not, I know what everyone's getting excited about nothing.
Everybody's seen Below Deck, so we do know about yachts.
So we get to Miami and we show up at this guy's house, and he, very lovely and gracious, and the kids are running around breaking everything in his house, and he's just, oh, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. And he gives us the invite that everybody else is looking for. Would you like to go on the yacht Labor Day weekend? Would you like to go on the yacht? And I'm like, yeah, sure, we'll go on your yacht, no problem, bud. Yeah, should I bring my fishing pole? I mean, I think we're gonna go on a pontoon boat.
Yeah, you
basically.
had low expectations.
It's Miami. You can't. I mean, there's real yachts out there. Krissy gives us the invite, gives us the directions, and we show up at a fucking shopping center. We show up at park at the shopping center.
Okay.
We park at the shopping center. I know I'm going to be right on this one.
Yeah.
I know this is a pontoon boat.
Yeah.
It's a dinghy with some life preservers. and I'm not saying anything out loud because I don't have a dinghy. I don't have a dinghy with life preservers. I'm barely paying my mortgage over here. I got 3 jobs and I'm barely paying the mortgage. So I'm like, whatever, cool. We're going on a dinghy. That's it. We go to the parking lot. He says, don't worry, I'll have someone come pick you up on a golf cart. Someone comes to pick us up on a golf cart. We are literally in the middle of a shopping center. Mm-hmm. And this guy starts swerving around the back of the shopping center.
Okay.
No, not okay. It's like we're passing by the fryer grease of, Uncle
Right,
Julio's Mexican
dumpsters
restaurant. Yeah, the dumpsters. And it's just awful.
And everybody's accidentally drove into the back of a shopping center. I hate it when I do that.
I know,
I'm like, shit, I took a wrong turn.
Out.
And you can't get out.
You can't get out because they don't want you back there, so they don't allow it.
You have to go the whole length.
There's a truck blocking you. The Cisco food guy is like, what the fuck, man? Trying to get my truck back here. I got frozen food to deliver. You're over here putzing around.
True.
Yeah.
That's a side note.
I was looking for a shortcut. You know where the Kroger is? Yeah, it's in the front with the big Kroger sign.
You think you're going to be smart and go like down this way. And then you end up and you're stuck.
Yeah, you're stuck. Now you got nothing to do.
Yeah.
Everybody's done it. Okay, so now we're doing it in a golf cart. The kids are screaming. I'm just like, whatever. And then all of a sudden, we pop out of this back alley with this thing, and we are in the middle of some of the finest boats and houses and condos you've ever seen in Miami. We are in the middle of a port. Yes, it's a harbor, and that harbor has 100, 200, 300-foot yachts that are sparkling clean, that have helicopter pads, that have dinghies that I imagined we were going to go on hanging off the back of them. And now I'm like, oh, shit, maybe I'm wrong.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm pleasantly surprised.
Exactly.
So he takes us up and he pulls, and there is this uncle standing there in the back of this boat, this 48-foot fucking yacht.
I love it. Does he have like champagne in his hand?
He does. He has champagne.
Hello.
He has champagne.
Yes.
The boat is going. There's a little walkway. There's a whole 9 yards. There's seats in the back. There's a glass sliding doors that you walk into on the back of the boat, and there is a living room with a fucking small kitchen and a television and stairs that go down.
Wow.
And there are 3 bedrooms, and there is an upstairs with couches and an extra. You have it good when your boat has not 1 but 2 places you can steer from. You know what I'm saying?
True.
That's true.
Yeah.
If you can steer from 2 places on a boat, you're doing okay for yourself.
Yes.
And it's a beautiful Italian leather everywhere. White.
Oh,
Runners,
yeah.
rug runners. The walls are covered in white. I don't know what it is, leather, wallpaper.
Yeah.
All night. You walk down these stairs, very steep stairs, but you walk down them. It's 3 bedrooms, 1 in the middle, and then 2 one on the right, 1 on the left.
I love this.
It's wonderful. It's lovely. And so this guy says to me, he says, listen, this is my first time driving my own boat. I usually have a driver, or for one of the first times driving my boat. So I have a couple rules, don't yell because I think it'll scare me, right? I'll think something's going on. Don't ever put your hands out when I'm trying to park. With a regular boat, you can push one way or the other, but this boat, 17 tons, is crush your hand, whatever. Okay, all this stuff makes common sense.
Right.
Don't jump off the boat. Don't play with the motor. All this other stuff.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay,
sit down and
cool.
shut up.
Sit down and shut up is right.
Let me navigate us out into the water.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I have 2 children that are like monkeys on crack. They are literally running around that boat, swinging off the fences.
They loved it too.
They're upstairs driving the boat. They're downstairs driving the boat. I'm like, no. They're turning on the water. They're turning off the water.
Yeah.
They've already messed up the bedrooms. Like they've been in the beds.
They jumped on the
They're
beds.
jumping from one bed to the other. It's unbelievable. There's another child in the mix too that's the same age. So now it's 3 children running around the boat, and we're trying to get ready to sail off, right? To ships ahoy,
Set
or whatever
sail.
they say. Set sail. So I'm upstairs helping this guy kind of untie and do a couple things around maintenance around the boat to get ready. And I hear, Bryan! And I'm like, the first thing this guy says is, no yelling. Okay, I got it. And I'm like, okay, hold on. And I'll be out there in a second.
This was Astrid?
I'm outside, yes. And I can hear Astrid yelling from inside. And the glass door is closed, so I can hear her yelling through the glass door. So then I'm like, hold on. And no yelling. Okay, I got it, right? And so she opens the glass door, and she's like, hi, Bryan. Hi. Can I talk to you just for 1 second? And I know that. That's an unspoken.
Universal.
Oh my God.
Of like, there's a shit show happening, and I'm going to be polite and not alert anyone else, but you, Bryan, need to get in here.
However, anybody
thing.
who's been married knows this much. And so this guy's looking at me, and I'm like, I'll be back in 1 second. Let me help you. And she's like, oh my God. What happened? Oh my God. And I'm like, oh my God, what happened? Is that kid's dead? No, worse. And so I walk down the middle of this boat in this living room, family room, kitchen area, and I go down the stairs, and what I see is fucking mortifying. Krissy. White carpet, white walls, white stairs.
White everywhere.
But the only thing that I can see is purple stains everywhere. We're not talking a little purple stain. We are talking purple stains everywhere in this little area where you would go to one of these 3 bedrooms, and the stairs and the walls and the carpet and the everything. Meanwhile, my son is like running around like a monkey. He's like, hey, Dad, look, there's a thing. Hey, Dad, look, there's a button you can press. Hey, Dad, look, a fire hydrant, a fire hose I can spray things with. Hey, Dad. And I'm like, okay, everyone, shut up. No screaming. No screaming. So I'm like, what the fuck happened?
No.
Your son, my son,
right, it becomes
your son, had a juice box, and he decided he was going to run through the halls with it, spraying it all over the place. I'm like, oh my God. We can't even afford the mortgage. Now I got to buy a new boat. That leather wallpaper costs more than this studio.
Oh my God.
So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Let's get a towel. So I get a towel, and I wet it, and then I'm like trying to, damp it.
Blot it.
Yeah, blot it. It's just squeezing the grape juice everywhere. It's making the whole, now more of the carpet is purple, and now I'm rubbing it off the walls, and it's just smearing the grape juice all over the leather, and I'm like, oh my God. And then I hear the door open, and I know that it's the owner of the boat, the uncle. We'll call him Uncle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, we're just gonna have to face this one head on because there's no way to
hide it.
Like,
there's no way to hide it.
I can't hide it. I can't clean it. I don't know what to do.
Yep. Do you have some OxyClean?
So I said, hey, I know we're not supposed
Where's the laundry room?
I know we're not supposed to yell. So I'm just gonna tell you right now. That includes you, right? Because I want to tell you.
Don't yell.
Yeah. That my idiot children sprayed grape juice all over you. And he looks downstairs and he's like, that's not good. I was like, no, it's not. But I don't want you to worry about it. And this is what he says. And I don't know if this speaks to what kind of guy he is or this is the truth. But either way, it was the news that I needed to hear. He's my hero.
Yes.
Because this is not how I would have handled it. I would have, some people would have been in the drink. That's all I got to say. I would have tied them up to the back of the boat and sailed on off. He goes, don't worry about it, Bryan, Astrid. Don't try and clean it. It'll just make it worse. And by the way, I'm getting all of that replaced next week. And I'm like, you're getting all of that replaced next week? I'm getting the whole interior replaced next week. Basically, anything you see, I'm getting replaced. And I was like, that's not true. That can't be true. You just got this yacht, and now all of a sudden you're getting everything replaced? But that's very nice of you to say.
Oh, man.
So I say, obligatorily, whatever it costs,
I will
send
help.
me the bill. Send it via mail. I'll try and get a check to you in the next 6 to 12 months.
Or years.
Yeah. I don't have a real bank account, but I've got one of those online things. Do you take Bitcoin? It'll raise in value. A funny story is when alt currency started getting hot.
Yeah.
I recommended that you get involved in a currency. I sold at the top. They all held on. They lost their ass. No. Oh my God. I'm like the gringo who could. I'm like the gringo who couldn't shoot straight.
Oh, Lord.
Krissy, I was just.
Oh my gosh.
But that's
very nice of him.
We go out. It's very nice of him. He was just like so gracious, such a nice host. He said all the right things, and whether it was true or it was not true, he made us feel better, at least in that moment.
I mean, if you're inviting kids onto your all white, you might just be prepared for
If I'm inviting kids onto my all white yacht, I'm expecting that their parents are going to pay attention to what's going on.
That's
right?
true too. Meanwhile, you're up there like
Honestly,
stirring.
I know. Steering the boat. Yeah. Bryan's up sunning himself on the front of the boat. while the kids are hanging off the side. No yelling. Shut up. I'm trying to sun myself up here. I got to look good for the next taping of the commercial break. Got to get my tan on. Meanwhile, it was the surface of the sun hot. Of the sun hot. It was like we left at 3. It was the surface of the sun hot. Mm-hmm. The water was 92 degrees. That's how crazy. Hot the water was. That's bath water, basically. Yeah.
The Atlantic gets warm like that. The Pacific stays cold.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with the rotation of the Earth or some shit like that.
Currents.
Yeah, currents. I don't know, science and stuff. So we take this maybe it's a 40-minute ride out into one of the other harbors in Miami. Mm-hmm. We're a little north of Miami, and then we travel a little more north, going toward the Fort Lauderdale area to hang out in this cove that has hundreds and hundreds of boats out there. Yacht Cove, something like that. Krissy, it's crazy how many boats were parked there.
Was it similar to what we see at Lake Lanier? Can I ask you that?
It was, but only people with actual money.
Okay.
People with real money. Yes, it was. It was definitely Lake Lanier. Just a lot more Trump flag. Well, no, that's Lake Lanier.
No,
those two. Yeah. But everyone was having a good time. Mm-hmm. The thing about South Florida is it really is it's been made into a home for Latinos and Latinas.
Of course.
It's their home. And I love it because I'm married to a Latina and I love the culture and it's all that.
And you're on a yacht.
Yeah, and I'm on a yacht with a purple yacht. That's somebody. So we get it. So we take this drive. And here's what I noticed about Florida. Not only is it an episode of Grand Theft Auto actually on the streets where people pretend that they're in a video game and just cut in front of people, they do the same fucking thing on the actual water too.
Oh, right.
They just cut in front of you.
Speeding around.
Yeah, this guy's got a 48-foot yacht, and it's just amazing how close these other boats are coming. And everything's very crowded. It's Labor Day, and I get it, but it seems so dangerous to me.
Yeah.
Listen how old I sound. It sounds so dangerous to me. I was 20, I would have been like, fuck yeah, buddy! So we get out to this cove, drops anchor, puts this little pad out, like this little floating pad that every yacht seems to have.
Yes.
It's like a 20-foot by
I've seen
10-foot
those.
pad that floats. It's your little island. You jump out the back of the
is.
boat, and then you can hang out on top of it. The kids can run on it. It's a whole thing. So we're there, and we're in the water, I don't know, 20 minutes. The kids are, first time really in the ocean, like deep ocean, and they're having a blast. And then Astrid looks at me, and she's like, do I have something on my neck? And I'm like, what do you mean you have something on your neck? And she goes, I'm just kind of itching. The second she says that, I start itching on my neck. And I'm like, I'm kind of itching on my neck, too. My legs start itching. My chest starts itching.
Yeah, once you talk about an itch, everything
itches. But it's an itch with a burn, right?
Okay.
And I haven't experienced this since college when I was dating a lot of people. The itch and the burn at the same time.
Not on your neck.
Hoadley, it was microscopic jellyfish that were just like, they bloom and then they just kind of they get you, and they were all over the place.
Wow.
It didn't take us out of the water, like it didn't distract us from fun, but for the next 24 hours everything was itchy and burny, right?
Yeah.
When we got back on the boat after, my children almost drowning multiple times, I put them back on the boat, and then we start heading back in. I go and I stand on the front of the boat. That kind of quiet, private time that I need, that Bryan time.
Right. Yeah, reflect.
Yeah, reflect.
The water.
All the
your
breasts that are everywhere.
Yes.
All the
the porn that's being made.
Yeah. So this is what happens. So as he's pulling up the anchor and as we're getting ready to go, there's boats that are passing in this little channel that's coming right in front of us. And I'm just watching as the boats pass. And every boat has one of three things going on.
Okay.
It's either a family of some sort, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, most of the boats are bigger than the boat we're on. It's just unbelievable how many beautiful boats are out there. But they all have the same thing. They all have the place where you hang out in front.
Yes.
And then on the second level,
Is
right?
that called the starboard?
Yeah, starboard.
Okay.
Yeah, the port
Starboard.
or the forward or the aft. I don't know, whatever. I spent 10 days on a boat and I don't even know what I'm talking about. So everyone's hanging out up front. So it's either a family that's just kind of sunning themselves. Yeah. It is someone doing an Instagram photo shoot.
Sure.
We saw multiple of those going on. Yeah. One guy, 12, 18-year-old girls in the slinkiest bikinis you could ever imagine, covering up nothing. And they're all taking photographs of themselves, right?
Yeah.
We saw this multiple times. It was clear that it was a photo shoot for Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically.
That's standard now.
Or number 3, which was people on the front of a boat and they were showing off their wares. Like, it was clear that they were doing a show for everybody else, right? So either Instagram model, photo shoot going on, a family just having a nice day, or a third, which was, yes.
Peacocking.
That's peacocking. Cock-cocking.
Yes.
Cock-cocking is what I call it. Peacock-cocking. Clearly out in the front of your boat to show off. Whatever plastic surgery you've just had. Flexing. As one boat passes by, and I'm categorizing this, right? I'm like, oh, that's a number 2. That's a number 3. There's a number 3. There's a nice family. There's a nice Instagram shoot. I catch something that I got a photograph of, and I'll see if I can put it up on our Instagram. There were 3 young ladies in extraordinarily small bikinis, like real string bikinis, the kinds you only shoelace, right? Showing, and I mean, nipples hanging out the whole 9 yards,
Disco
like
naked,
tiny. Disco naked.
Point.
Who cares?
No,
I mean,
not
it's Miami.
disco. Just go.
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to do.
or disco.
Yeah, but Uncle said no yelling and no showing
nudity.
your cock. Yeah, no cock cocking out there. No cock cocking. As they are driving by, and we're talking, this is like 50 feet from me, I see that someone's got like a sunshade, and then there are 2 guys who have actual cameras. And then there are these 3 girls with string bikinis on, most of which are ass end toward me.
Okay.
Like they just like bending down with their asses toward me. And at first, I think they're
That's when you're really starting to reflect.
I'm really starting to reflect on if I didn't have these fucking kids, maybe
Deep
Astrid would be
thoughts.
ass ending me.
Deep thoughts.
Krissy, what was going on was a porn video shoot on the front of a boat while it was moving.
Wow.
In the middle of thousands of other boats. It was one gentleman getting fellatio from 3 separate women and 2 other guys
filming it
while some young lady held a sunshade to make sure that you got the perfect lighting for your cock cocking. Only in fucking Miami does this happen.
Yeah.
Only in Miami would you see an actual porn movie being shot in a crowded Labor Day cove with thousands of other people looking on, children included, and these guys were on the front of a boat.
That is wild.
That is so fucking insane. I mean, is it the craziest thing I've never seen? No.
Yeah.
But is it one of the crazier things I've seen? Certainly.
I'm not surprised.
It's the craziest thing I've ever seen on a purple 48-foot yacht.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
Yeah, and live in person.
Besides that time I walked into a club and I was at a swingers party,
yeah. You kind of were prepared for that.
Well, I wasn't prepared, but by the time I got in and got adjusted, I could understand why people were getting head in there, right? But when you're in a yacht with your children,
you're not expecting
it's not something that you expect. But I'll be damned if they weren't filming an actual porn movie on the front of this boat.
Wow. Well,
It was just the first 2 days of my trip. It was just the first 2 days, Krissy.
that's a good way to start it.
How was your Labor Day?
Not as eventful as yours.
Oh, come on. You didn't have anything go on?
No, not
You
like
and
that.
you and Jeff weren't peacocking or cock-cocking?
Not like that.
Well, you go down to your pool. There's some cock-cocking going on down there,
I'm
too.
totally immersed in your story now. I can't even remember. Was I live yesterday? I don't know.
Hey.
I'm totally thinking about the porn. And were they
That's-
streaming it? Were they just filming it? Was it dual live stream? And it's available for somewhere. We might need to do some research and find this.
I wish what do you search for? Labor Day yacht porn?
Miami
I mean,
Labor Day yacht porn.
I don't even think it's going to go on some random website.
There's probably like a million search results. that
How
come
much
up.
do you have to get paid to give some because I'm assuming the guy doesn't need to get paid anything, but how much do you need to get
I guess
paid?
it depends on your situation.
Yeah, in order to give head in the middle of a cove on Labor Day, I just... I mean, sex work is work, and don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
I don't think you should be doing it in the middle of a cove on Labor Day.
Yeah.
But, $500, $1,000, $2,000.
I mean, are we talking me personally?
Well, I know you
or-
were going to say no to it altogether. You're a classy lady.
I am, yes.
There's no... However...
But in another
if you
life.
send in $1,000 to tcbpodcast.com,
And a plane
you'll
ticket
get a
to
free
Miami.
packet of Why Bryan 3000 and Fellatio from Krissy.
I'm going to need that plane ticket, too.
Oh, a plane ticket down to Miami. Oh, it's got to be filmed in Miami.
Yeah.
I think we should be careful because with some of our fans, they might actually do it.
That's true.
Oh, man, there's so much more to talk about. That's just
I
boat
know
number one.
That was just the leading up to it.
Guys, you got to slow down in
before you-
Miami. You're killing everybody down there.
Well, they're living hard and fast,
Yeah,
Bryan.
but you're going to kill somebody. That's the thing. And then we saw multiple accidents. And
Of
I know why
course.
those accidents
Of course
were
you do.
from.
Yeah.
Is because they're from people just trying to cut in front of you.
Of course you do.
That's it.
It's like when it's raining really, really hard, and I see people flying by, and then they're in the ditch.
Yeah.
And I'm like, your own damn fault.
There's only been one time when I've seen instant karma like that, and that was a guy did the same move that they do down in Miami. He came, he went super fast, he cut in front of somebody, and 5 minutes later, I saw him in the ditch.
Yeah, I saw it on one trip that I took from Nashville down to Atlanta.
Oh, really?
My mom and I were driving, and it was pouring. We were like following the cell or whatever they call it, like the storm.
Yeah.
Somehow, like on our route was strictly. We had to pull off multiple times. I mean, it was raining that hard the entire time.
Yeah, sheets of rain.
And I saw multiple cars flying around and then spun out.
Well, you know what? That's what you get for being an asshole.
Yeah, nobody was hurt, thank goodness.
Now that I have
But
children,
you
I
can,
slow it down just a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anyways.
glad to be back in the studio. Thanks for listening. Thank you for... There's so many... Our fucking phone line
I know.
blew up while I was gone. I don't know what happened.
The pet stuff.
We got
pet
we got pet
stories
photographs. We got people telling us about their old jobs. We
Keep
got
it coming.
somebody who told us that Adam's move out of the country to get your friend to sleep with you
Worked?
tactic worked. I'll talk more about that later on down the
believe
road.
it.
So many people. So
I love it.
thanks
Keep
to
it
everybody.
coming.
Keep it coming. Our good friends. I wanted to say this too. We know the YouTube videos are behind. We're getting on it. We have a brand new producer, Morgan. She's working on it. We'll update that channel.
Quality
just as
takes
soon.
time.
Quality takes time. We're not going to... If there's one thing the commercial break will never do, it's let the quality of our programming suffer due to time restrictions.
No.
The commercial break is one big example of quality suffering due to time restrictions.
In the dictionary, we're under quality.
That's right. All right, so I guess that's all I can do for today.
I think so.
But I do want to let you know that I love you.
I love you.
I do want to let you know best to you,
Best
Krissy.
to you.
And best to you out there in the podcast universe. Make sure to hit us up 661-237-8296. And until next time, Krissy and I always say, we do say, and we must say,
Bye.
bye.